Well, good afternoon. It's Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker. And today is, what was that, Saturday? It's Saturday. I want to say the 13th. I looked at it and it just gone like that. Saturday, the 13th of January, 2024. It's approximately 15:25. Pacific time. I'm coming to you from Madera, California, Love's Truck Stop. And I decided to do a video on the road today, largely because I've got such an excessive amount of beard on my face. I've got 4.5 days, and you will rarely see me with this much whiskers on my face, this many whiskers. And so we're going to do a straight razor shave, but I thought this would be a good opportunity with my beard just overwhelming to talk just a little bit about beard mapping, which I do a fair amount of. Not recently, I've seen others talking about beard mapping as well, but it's so evident when your beard gets excessively long like this. And you can really see, for me, you can really see where this bottom section on the lower part of the neck, the whiskers are growing upward and not downward. My beard generally grows from the center out and down, out and down. And another thing that I notice so much, and I want you to take notice of, is just how much beard there is on my chin. See, right here just on the underside of the chin, it's going that way. It comes down and that way. And you know, if you watch me for very long, you know that I have, this is one of my trouble spots right underneath the chin, on that line under my chin. But you can see the whiskers here, how they're growing to the back, down and out. So it's just an interesting thing. Let me introduce the equipment today that we're going to use, and the razor, and I hope it lives up to its namesake, is the Robeson Sure Edge. And I can tell you, I'm going to need a sure edge on this beard today. If I remember correctly, it's got a Dan's Arkansas hard black, and it should do very well. I'm going to use this for both the head shave, the face shave, and the head shave. And I have a backup razor that is equally or superior to that shave, razor, I should say. The soap is Sterling Oro Valley. And I saw an email today from Sterling, and they're going to be discontinuing this. This is one of the new 7 that I recently purchased. And I've used it once or twice already, and to me it's a delightful smell. You'll see that it's got a little cute picture there of a desert and cactus and so forth, and it smells very outdoor, very desert like. And so and I do enjoy it. I like it. I like it just fine. And for the brush, we're continuing to use the Sterling Soap Company 31 millimeter bore badger, made in connection with Zenith out of Italy, made in Italy. And I'm loving this brush. I want to give it at least a good solid month of usage to break it in, to get the ends of the bristles to start splitting. And I'm seeing that as we go on here. So let's get started. I've had a nice hot shower. I've got what feels to be good hot water at the sink for the shave. And so today is day number 3 on the road. I last shaved on Tuesday morning. I left the yard on Wednesday late afternoon. I've got stories to tell, as I often do. But it's, again, it's been an eventful trip with some things not to my liking, but sometimes you can't help things happening as they do when you're on the road and away from all of your mechanics and dispatchers and support people to keep you rolling. I did have and I'll tell you about this. I did have a 3-hour breakdown is what it amounts to, but it consumed 6 hours of my time. But I was able to make my destination last night, which keeps me on track, keeps me on pace. I'm going to Medford, Oregon. You remember I was going to Medford, Oregon about 6 weeks ago, and it looks like the weather is going to give me a break. It's been forecasting snow in the Klamath Mountains, Siskiyou Pass, which is one of the most dangerous in the world, or in the United States, I should say. I can't speak to the world I don't know. But let's start off and I'll tell you the story and we'll make some truck driving stories and some shaving information and get the beard nice and hydrated, soap, pre-shave. I call this a pre-shave, following Jock at Dapper Shaves. The beard feels nice and soft already from the shower. So I want to thank you for watching me today. I want to thank my YouTube subscribers. I want to thank my good friends, Jock at Dapper Shaves, Martin at Martin Test Shaves, Gordon Christie, and Bill M. Had a nice conversation with him yesterday on the phone. Matt, also known on YouTube as Straight Face Shaved, and also Lukey3262. His channel name is Straight Face Shaved. And so I was told it to be to the yard for the load by 12 noon. It had a load time on Wednesday morning of 06:30, and I thought, well, sure, it should be back to the yard. I should get away at a fairly decent hour for the goal that I had set for Wednesday. Boy, was I wrong. It didn't get back to the yard, and I didn't get underway. As usual, the preload driver did not do any of the requirements because it's a in-transit heat load, which means I've got to have the trailer coil system filled with antifreeze, and the hoses are then connected to connections on the back of the tractor that connect to the radiator and the antifreeze reservoir. And he didn't do any of that to the trailer. We call it charging the trailer, meaning antifreeze, charge it with antifreeze. And he didn't do any of that. So it took me about 45 minutes to get that done. Got to pull the trailer, hook up to the trailer, pull the trailer over to the shop. They charge the trailer, and then you're supposed to be ready to go. The last 2 in-transit heat loads I've had, there have been connection problems, not heating the trailer. And so I had to get those sorted out. This one wasn't so much that kind of a problem as it was, apparently I had some kind of leak in the system that I had to get looked at and repaired. But it worked out conveniently enough. But I'm going to go through more of a timeline itinerary. So I left the yard at approximately 4 o'clock, 1600 on Wednesday afternoon, with a destination in mind, a goal of the Love's Truck Stop at Alma, Texas, which was 3.5 hour approximately drive. That would have gotten me in there at approximately 7:30. Let's go ahead and start this. There should be lots of popping and snapping for your entertainment.
Customer 38, your shower is ready. Please proceed to shower 6.
Doing a fine job already. You know how much I hate doing videos and shaving in the truck stops. The guy's already knocked on the door once, and I hadn't been in here 10 minutes. When I clearly have a do not disturb sign on the door, they never look at their computer system to see when entry was made, how long I've been in here. And that's annoying, very, very annoying.
Customer 38, your shower is ready. Please proceed to shower 6.
So I did get to the Love's Truck Stop at Alma at about 7:30, 7:45. And as I feared, at that late hour on Wednesday evening, that the truck stop would be all jammed up. No designated or legal, I say legal according to company policy. They had the trucks just stacked and packed in there. It just was ugly. It was ugly. And I thought to myself, okay, it's not that bad a deal in my mind, because I needed to get through Fort Worth to the far side, northwest side of Dallas, or Fort Worth. This little blade is just doing wonderfully. This is somewhere between a 5/8 and 6/8. I think it's closer to 5/8. I'll take a better look here in a second at it. So I'm thinking to myself, this is not necessarily a bad thing, because it compelled me to move on forward through Fort Worth. Yeah, I'm going to say this is a 5/8. And so I zipped through the truck stop at Alma, Texas, got out, got back up on the freeway, I-45. I'm about 3 miles from I-20 on the south side of Dallas. Get on I-20 and no. I'm 1 mile off of I-45 for the exit of US 287, which cuts to the northwest and comes into the bottom of Fort Worth at I-20. I'm being extra careful to keep my blade as flat as possible on my face so it doesn't accidentally dig in and cut me. Here he comes. He's on a door knocking campaign right now. Do not disturb, I said it before. And I've got the little placard on the outside of it, one of those hotel things you hang on the handle that says "Do not disturb." Now, do I need to put some braille out there? I don't know. And so, made my way around Fort Worth. When you get on I-20, it's only a couple of miles to the Loop 820. You know what? I didn't start with my upward strokes on this shave. Oops. But it still works. I mean, you know. And 820 will loop around to the east and north side, and then on further west a little bit of Fort Worth, and get you over to, if you look at a map, it'll say Interstate 35W, which you'll see that they split. There's a 35 west and a 35 east. That's split in Denton, Texas, way up on the north side. And so you follow that on around to 35W, get on 35W, go north, and within a couple of miles there, US 287 was split to the northwest. Now, I knew that there was a Love's truck stop at Rome, Texas, and but I knew it'd be jammed up. But I wanted to go in there and get a refill on my ice because I didn't have any, and I knew I would be spending the night someplace that was not a Love's truck stop. So I wanted to get some ice, and I took the occasion to look at my map. I wanted to see where the big rest areas were. Texas has has on 287 going up that way has 3-4 very large, hold more than 100 trucks, rest areas, public rest areas. And sure enough, looking at the map and the information, the public information, there was looking at the map, there was a large rest area about 30 miles on from the Love's truck stop at Rome, and it was designated as one of those extra large ones. And I thought, that's fine. It was still early enough, it was about 8:30 or so, and I was relatively positive that I'd find a place to park. Well, got underway and got to moving, and came up on that rest area. And lo and behold, if Public Works hadn't closed it for repairs and whatever else, but it was closed, barricades, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's great. That's just great. And I'm starting to worry a little bit. Am I going to have to drive all the way to Amarillo or to the next one, which was about 70 miles away, and I didn't want to drive that long. So I got to looking at my trucker's GPS, and from where I currently was, just passing that one at Decatur, the big one at Decatur, which was that 30 minutes past Rome, between that there and the next big one, which was about 70, 80 miles further on out, there were 3 partial rest areas. With what that means is there's parking, but there's no services. There's no public restroom. There's no running water, that sort of thing. So I found 3 of these between where I was and the next big one, which was some miles out. And the first one was about 30, 40 miles further on. And now it's starting to get a little bit later. And so I got to that small rest area, and they designated it, Texas Road designated it as a picnic area. That's really all it was. There wasn't tables set outside, and concrete and all that. And I got in there, it was wide open. I had my choice of parking places. And I felt good about that. It was either travel through Fort Worth and get through that giant headache of a Metroplex that night, Wednesday night, or get up early in the morning. If I had made Alma, get up early the next morning and go through before rush hour or at the beginnings of rush hour, which I wasn't keen on that. So I think the way that I drove it, that first day out, going from Houston to, if I got to go through Fort Worth, I think that's when I'm going to start playing it on this kind of a load. Now this is where we're going to start shifting toward talking about the problem I had with the in-transit heat. It was cold that night at that little rest area. I think it got down to like, I don't know, 20-something degrees. And I had not turned the in-transit heat on at the Houston yard. It was still plenty enough warm. The trailer was delivered to me at 100 degrees. The temperature range on the product was 85 to 100. Delivery at 95 degrees plus or minus 5 degrees. Okay. I'm trying to remember. So I drove that morning from that little rest area all the way to, I didn't turn it on. That's what I'm remembering. Because it's not where I had my problem. If I had turned it on, there would have been a problem. I made it from there. End of day was in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Big Lowe's truck stop there. And I came in at 90 degrees, I think, when I stopped that night. Not positive, but I think that because I was right at the bottom of my range. And it was very cold that night. I think it was 16 degrees Fahrenheit when I got up that next morning, which would have been yesterday morning. Well, how'd this little razor do on all that beard? It's all gone. Now it's just all clean up. And so when I got up that yesterday morning at Santa Rosa, New Mexico, I turned the in-transit heat system on and I got underway. here's where the fun begins. About 30 minutes later, all the bells and whistles, alarms of the truck start going off at critically low coolant level. And of course, as I said, the in-transit heat system runs off of the radiator of the truck and the reservoir, the antifreeze reservoir. And so I had to find a place to stop. I ordinarily carry with me about 7 gallons of extra antifreeze. So I found a sufficient place to pull off to the side of the road, or off the road, I should say, rest area or something. As I say, I carry extra gallons of antifreeze with me, and the reservoir ended up taking an additional, or taking 3.5 gallons to fill it back up. Okay, good. Close the cap, close the hood, get behind the wheel, off I go. Thinking everything is right with the world. 30 minutes down the road, all the bells and whistles start going off again. What in the world? So I find a place to pull off, and open the hood. I'm down. I've already used 3.5 gallons of my 7, so I've got 4 left. And to fill it back up this time took 2 gallons. I could have put a little more in, but I didn't want to open that. I had 2 remaining. I didn't want to open either of those yet. And if I remember right, I was right in the middle of the full, or the maximum and minimum line. So I close the cap, close the hood, the cap on the radiator, get behind the wheel, and off I go. Now, all the while, on both occasions, I called it in, and they're saying, oh, this is unusual, this is unusual. I'm saying, really? No kidding. It tells me that the guy that charged the trailer didn't charge the trailer. So I got underway, started rolling. Got 30 minutes down the road, and for a third time, all the bells and whistles went off. Low coolant level. Well, now I'm thinking I've got a leak somewhere, but not at the usual places, because I've been checking the usual places, and there's no leak, no telltale signs of any leaks. But the good news was this time I checked my GPS map and nearby truck stops and rest areas and so forth. Within 15 miles, there was a TA truck stop, and they've got full service mechanic bays there. And so when I got to the TA truck stop at Moriarty, New Mexico, that's coming into Albuquerque on the east side, I didn't go over to the mechanics service bays yet. I did a full walk around, and there was a leak of antifreeze coming from the rear of the trailer. Unbeknownst to me, there was an in-transit heat warming line that branched off and went to the discharge valve to keep it warm so the product wouldn't freeze, which products will freeze if they drop too far below temperature. And when I say freeze, they become like wax. Most products will become wax or, fully hardened. And so here's this leak. Now I'm understanding why I dumped 5 gallons of antifreeze in those different stops that I made to fill it up. And so once I discovered the leak, I walked over to their shop. Actually, I pulled the truck over to a parking place much closer to the mechanic bays. Called it in, and they authorized me to get it fixed there at that TA truck stop. And from the time, so I started driving yesterday morning at 6:30, had those 3 stops including repair, and I didn't get underway again until 12:45, fully repaired. Now you can say that I didn't lose much time in those other stops, and that's probably true. Was I happy about it? No. From the time that I arrived at the truck stop, the TA truck stop for repair, to the time that they released me was in a lapse of about 3 hours. So I lost 3 hours on the day. Now, my original goal for last night was to get in to the Luz truck stop at Williams, Arizona. I'd get, if I hadn't lost those 3 hours, I would have gotten in 3:30, 4 o'clock, something like that. But I did lose those 3 hours, but I was able to make Williams, and that's the important thing. It keeps me on track, on target for my routing. Very nice. And so as it was, I got into Williams last night about 7:30 or so. Now the question is, do I take a shower? Because I wanted to get here early. I said I got 3.5 days of whiskers on my face and when I was at Williams. Do I want to shower and shave there, which would bring me back to the truck about 9 o'clock, get dinner, get to bed and get to sleep well after 10 o'clock, maybe even after 11 o'clock. Get up at 4 o'clock. No, I didn't want to do that. So I didn't take a shower and shave last night. I laid in, ate my dinner, lights out, go to sleep at about 9:30. Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. When 4 o'clock came around and my alarm went off, boom, right up out of bed. I said, I'll make for a better video anyway when I get to Madeira to have 4.5 days of whiskers on my face for this video. So I'm in no hurry. I don't know what time it is right now. 4:30, 5 o'clock, don't care. Video's been going for 51 minutes. I got in here about 3 o'clock, I guess it was. That's good enough. So that kind of brings me up to date on a timeline from when I left the yard and all the adventure and misadventure. It's been quite cold until getting over here into the California desert. When I came in out of Williams and down the mountain and came into Kingman, Arizona, that's when it began to warm up and daylight's coming on, and then by the time I get into Eastern California, Needles, funny thing this morning. You know, the truck speed limit in California is 55 miles an hour, all throughout the state, no exception. Nobody pays attention to it. All the truck drivers, nobody pays attention to it. As soon as I got into Needles, got through that agriculture inspection station that California has, and I got up to speed, I got up to 65 miles an hour. California Highway Patrol passes me in the left lane. I've had 4 today pass me. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's give it a good wash off and do some finishing strokes and move on to the head shave. I'm just going to make passing mention of this. I wanted to mention of it, but if you get a chance to listen to Alex Jones on InfoWars from yesterday, the 12th, he interviews Gerald Celente, which is he's a financial guy. And I thought it was a fascinating interview. I was going to say more about it, but I'm not going to, since I'm as near to the end as I am. I feel so much better with my whiskers all gone. Little spot right there, little spot right there, and that's about it. That's about it. I'm very happy with that shave. I gave myself a haircut with my clippers before the shower and shave this afternoon, which is another reason I've been in here a good long while. But I don't care what they think. Don't care. Well, I'm thinking about going getting me a burger sandwich or something when I'm done here. I got my refrigerator full of my wife's excellent cooking. Why I would even contemplate getting a Hardee's burger, I don't know. 'Cause I want one. And so there was 4.5 days growth on my head as well. So I was feeling kind of shaggy up top. Usually on the first day, having done a haircut with the clippers, I don't try to define my lines. These lines right here, too carefully. One, they're kind of hard to see. I mean, I can kind of see it, but I'm not going to try and get real precise up there. Give them a few days to grow out, and I can see them a little bit better, and then I can define the line a little bit better. I will edit and upload this tonight. Okay, that's good enough. Okay. Do the back of my neck and we'll be done. Thank you for hanging with me this long. And the Oro Valley soap by Sterling, it smells wonderful. It smells like a arid desert. I'll let you, like I said, they're getting ready to discontinue this for a while or put it back in its vault for next year or something. I don't know. Oh, I hear music coming in from the You've probably been hearing it. I just thought that YouTube will likely give me a strike on all of that again. Like they did on my last video from home. I couldn't ask for better. This has just been a wonderful shave. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I have enjoyed executing it. Okay. Robeson Sure Edge. I don't know if it's going to focus in or not. There it is. Right there. Robeson Sure Edge. Let's see if I can move it a little closer even. 5/8 razor. Just plastic scales. Made in New York, I think it was. I can't read it. Anyway, Arkansas hard black edge. And the Oro Valley Sterling Soap Company. Sterling Soap Company, boar bristle brush, 31 millimeter knot with a 50 millimeter loft on it, and so made in conjunction with Zenith, right? Yeah, Zenith. All right. Let's set this aside. Let's go ahead and give you the piece de resistance of the shave. Which is the alum block, Osma alum block. Piece de resistance. Really? Did I say that? Now when I get back to the truck and do my post-shave cleanup, I'll probably splash on something. I've got 4 or 5 cheap Panade aftershaves that I carry with me. I try to take extra care of that little block of alum when I'm on the road because it's so easy for it to slip out of your fingers and land on the hard floor and bam. Okay, well that's it. I'm done. Thank you for staying with me this long. This is Longhaultanker and I will see you down the road.